See my body when she rocks the bells.
Gratitude lifts me high. I receive. I am open to receive. Blessings flow, they never
See my
leave.
body when she
I
rocks
attract.
the bells.
I attract. I attract. Gratitude lifts me high. Living in dreams. I feel that step. I receive. I am open to receive. I feel that blessings flow, they never leave. I attract. Endless streams where dreams come. Gratitude lifts me high. Living in dreams. Life's abundant. Feel that stretch along. I receive. I am open to receive. I feel that blessings flow, they never leave. I attract. Endless streams where dreams come. Gratitude lifts me high. Living in dreams. Life's abundant. Feel that stretch along. I receive. I am open to receive. I feel that blessings flow, they never leave. I attract. Endless streams where dreams come. Gratitude lifts me high. Living in dreams. Life's abundant. Feel that stretch along. I receive. I am open to receive. I feel that blessings flow, they never leave. I attract. Endless streams where dreams come. Gratitude lifts me high. Living in dreams. Life's abundant. Feel that stretch along. I receive. I am open to receive. I feel that blessings flow, they never leave. I'm aligned, I'm open, let it rain. Money miracles, no need to explain. Bills and blessings, they dance like fire. A choir of notes built higher. Higher gratitude hums like a melody. The sky cracks open, raining green. The kind of wonder you've never seen. Abundance feels like destiny. I wake up smiling under a lucky sun. Every step I take, the race is already won. Whispers in the wind, they call my name. Every little spark ignites my flame. Oh, yeah. Energy rising, it's electric, divine. Every path I walk turns golden, it shines. I'm a magnet for gold, it flows my way. Thank you, thank you. I hear the stars say the universe loves me. It's all aligned. Abundance surrounds me, time after time. Ooh, yeah. The river shimmer, reflecting my dream. Mountains echo with my radiant gleam. I plant my wishes, they bloom overnight. The cosmos wings, it's all going right. I'm a magnet for gold, it flows my way. Thank you, thank you. I hear the stars say the universe loves me. It's all aligned. Abundance surrounds me, time after time. Ooh, yeah. Money's a melody, I dance to its beat. Gratitude whispers, it's bittersweet. Thank you, the heavens, for all that I feel. This life is magic, my joy is real. I'm a magnet for gold, it flows my way. Thank you, thank you. I hear the stars say the universe loves me. It's all alive. Abundance surrounds me, time after time. Ooh, yeah. Gold rains down like morning dew. I blink twice and dreams come true. A wallet fat, a sky so blue. Coins and bills, they find my door. I don't chase, I just explore. Money miracles find me daily. I'm a magnet spinning crazy. Wealth unfolds, oh.
Yo, what's up, everybody? We're going to go ahead and get started in the next couple of minutes. We do want to make sure that we have everybody that needs to be on today's call. As y'all know, we're live on YouTube. So if you know somebody that wants to learn about crypto and assets, wants to be up to date, you guys already know we've been running this probably, I would say, a year now. And I'm excited because today we have my boy John Luke and myself on this session together. I'm excited. There's a lot of things to talk about, go through chart analysis. It will be a very good session. So make sure to have pen and paper. Make sure to let us know if you're on here live on YouTube, to let us know in the chat box where you're tuning in from, and we'll get started in the next couple of minutes.
Thank you, prosperity. Income streams, they dance and twirl. Diamonds fall, a glitter swirl. Abundance knocks, I let it in. This is how my life begins. I'm a magnet to gold. Feel the pull, watch it unfold. Yeah, every step, the ground turns bright. I walk in sunshine day and night. The stars whisper my name. Energy's a roaring flame. Money flows my way. Abundance here to stay. Thank you, God. I rise, I shine. Energy is pure, divine. Richness wraps me tight. Everything feels so right. The universe, I'm my tune. My dreams are right, not a moment too soon. Oh, I wake up smiling, heart in flight. Grateful for this endless light. The stars whisper my name. Energy's a roaring flame. Money flows my way. Abundance here to stay. Thank you, God. I rise, I shine. Energy is pure, divine. Richness wraps me tight. Everything feels so right. I feel the shift, the air is sweet. A golden river beneath my feet. The energy hums, it's soft but strong. Whispering wealth where I belong. Yeah, open hands, open heart. Every moment's a fresh new start.
Hello. Welcome to Crypto and Assets with myself and Jesus Gill. So excited to be on this call today. for our crypto and assets. It's been a couple of weeks since myself and Gil have been together. So it's amazing to be back on. And, we're really massive on giving game, on giving value to each and every single one of you, whether you're a part of the private Powerhouse community or whether you are on YouTube or from one of the public. So very, very happy to be here. And we're going to go ahead and get things started. You guys know how we set up these calls. We start off with what's going on in crypto. We start off with the fundamentals. Now, just to refresh everybody who's on here, we have some beginners, we have some intermediates, we also have some advanced. And so one of the key things is understanding the three forms of analysis before getting into the market. It doesn't matter if you're a trader, doesn't matter if you trade CFDs, if you trade futures, if you trade commodities, indices, options trading, regardless. You can even be just an investor. Whatever it is that you are, there's three forms of analysis that you want to keep in mind. The first form is technical. That is about the charts. That is about marking up and doing the nitty-gritty detail of, where do I enter my trade? What price level should I invest in? When should I take profit? Things of that nature. Then the second form of analysis is fundamental analysis. That is the news. That is looking at the companies, looking at the crypto projects and understanding who's financing it, who's a part of that project, and how does the news then affect the market. And the third form is sentimental analysis. This comes with a little bit more of experience. This is understanding the emotions of the market. There's something called the Wall Street cheat sheet, and it's showing you the psychology and the cycles of that within various asset classes. And when you get a feel of sentimental analysis, you can start to anticipate where the market's going to move and why, because it's humans that's moving the charts. And so feelings and emotions definitely affect market structure. So those are the three forms of analysis. And I'm going to start this call off going over the fundamentals, going over the news. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then we shall dive into things. So as this call is recorded, some of you may know me, some of you may not. And my name is Jean-Luc Ramdin. I've been in the space for 5 years now. Traditional markets, decentralized markets, and I am a trader, also an investor in different asset classes. And we're really excited to give you value. I work for an investment bank dealing with debt. And then to the side of that, I'm an equities trader. So hopefully you guys get two sides of the coin in terms of the experience and who you're listening from today. So what's going on in crypto? The first bit of news I want to speak about is the SEC token taxonomy. That is something which was announced, and it's very, very interesting because it's dealing with how they're classifying digital assets. So just give me one moment and let me sort out a couple of things over here. I'm going to share my screen this way, and then you guys should be able to see what's going on. Okay, amazing, amazing. So now you guys are seeing the correct screen. Brilliant. So let's dive into this. The SEC is the Security Exchange Commission, as you may know, and they simply regulate all finances within the US. And a big topic of discussion is, how do we classify XRP, which is Ripple? How do we classify BTC, Bitcoin? How do we classify ETH, which is Ethereum? And you might think as an investor, like, what does this matter for me? Like, I don't care about these details. It really is irrelevant. Well, it matters for a couple of reasons. And one of those big reasons is simply more adoption. Now, I'm going to show you guys an article here which speaks about this because I like to get in the weaves of things, and I found it very, very interesting. So the SEC, they decided to categorize crypto assets into 5 groups. And these are the groups. Number 1, you have digital commodities. Number 2, digital collectibles. Number 3, digital tools. Number 4, stable coins. And number 5, digital securities. Now, with stable coins, we spoke about the Clarity Act, which is providing a legal framework for companies to produce their own stable coins. And if we just go to CoinGecko, for those of you who don't know, because I know there's a couple of new people on the call, CoinGecko is It's the Yahoo Finance of crypto. This is where we look at the project's tokenomics, look at the market cap, we look at the ecosystem within it. And if I just go to CoinGecko, guys, this is a trusted source of a website to use. And let's go to categories. I want to do a little bit of educating here on this call. And if we just scroll down on categories and we click stable coins, right? Stable coins are pegged 1-to-1 with the dollar. So it's your safe haven for your funds. And you can see here some of the largest stable coins in the space. And so if I just click USDC, for example, which is one that we suggest and recommend, USDC is a stable coin, so it stays 1-to-1 with the dollar. This is just showing you the details of that stable coin in terms of how large is it. So it's 77 billion, I believe is the number. 77 billion? Yeah, 77 billion. You can see the 24-hour trading volume. So that's a good indication, right? Because if the trading volume is high in every 24 hours, then that shows that there's a lot of activity. There's a lot of movements, and you want to be involved in a stable coin. You want to have investment in a stable coin which has liquidity, right? So that you know that if the market downturns, if things retrace and Bitcoin falls massively, your funds in that stable coin is going to be safe. So the Clarity Act is an act which is being passed in the government, and it basically allows companies to produce their own. And so if we just look and scroll down here, some companies have already produced their own stablecoins. We have PayPal, who have produced their own stablecoin. I believe it's PYUSD. We have Binance, BUSD. Binance is a crypto exchange. They've produced their own stablecoin. Stablecoin creation is going to become more and more popular. I think we're going to see apps such as Cash App have their own stablecoins in the future. Why? Because the function is very, very popular to use. And number two, it's going to attract more people to that platform because it's simple and the everyday person can understand the purpose of a stablecoin. So let's look at this a little bit. The SEC named 16 cryptos as digital commodities. And these are the 16. These are the 16. So for any of you on this call who are like, hey, I'm a little bit still skeptic about crypto. I don't know if it's going to be here in the future. Guys, the SEC, the forefront, the head agency of the US government who regulate finances are saying these 16 cryptos, they're labeled digital commodities. They're not just this alternative asset speculative thing that's just like, pumps up and pumps down and goes to zero. No. Like these 16, yeah, they're so legitimate. We're actually going to classify them so that people can use them and not be feared of, is this legal, or will it be here in the future, or how do I treat this from a regulation standpoint? And so you can see obviously Bitcoin, Ethereum, the large ones here, but then there's also cryptos such as Aptos, AVAX, Hedera. Guys, these are projects we've been speaking about for years. I remember on the platform in Powerhouse, guys, in Zinrai, Hedera was spoken about in 2022. That was 4 years ago. And Litecoin as well. So, and then obviously you have, Shiba Inu and a couple, the hype coins, I guess you can say. That's a whole nother conversation in terms of will it last or not, or is there utility? What does it add to the ecosystem? But this was massive news that I wanted to make clear to you guys. And so they are not being classed as securities. They're being classed as commodities. And so XRP, guys, Ripple, the court case in the past, the SEC was saying, hey, this is a security. Like, this is a security, it's illegal. So you guys in the future are going to have to pay fines, or you're basically going to have to pay for this. But the end of that case, the conclusion was that, no, this is not a security. Like, this is a cryptocurrency. It's something completely different. And so this is massive, massive news. And so it reduces the legal risk. But the second point is, if you guys are taking notes, is that it changes how projects may launch in the future or may raise money in the future, right? Because think about it. If you're a billionaire, just put yourself in a billionaire's mind. You're a billionaire. You want to start a crypto project. You have the team behind you. Before this regulation, you may have been a bit more apprehensive because you don't want to risk that type of money or time into something that can fail in the future. But now you can go to an investor and say, this is my idea. This is literally the governmental article stating that this is a commodity. Like, this isn't something that is going to be high level of legal risk. So more investors are going to be pumped into the space. That's the first news. The second bit of news is this. alternative assets in 401k funds. Now, put a 10 in the chat if you guys have a retirement account. Put a 10 in the chat. You have a 401k, you have an IRA, you have a Roth IRA, you know, maybe you have one of the retirement accounts that are for business owners. Put a 10 in the chat if you guys have a retirement account. So I can't exactly see the chat right now, but I'm sure a few of you do. And let me go ahead and bring the next article regarding this, because yeah, this is really interesting, guys. Just think about this, right? Think about this. The 401k market, I guess you can call it, is $8.8 trillion worth. $8.8 trillion worth in the 401k market. Now, let's just say, theoretically, that just 1% of 401k portfolios had some crypto exposure, right? It's probably going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, one of those three. 1% of 8.8 trillion it's $88 billion. Hold on a minute, $88 billion. Let's have a look at something, Jean-Luc. $88 billion. What's the size of the cryptocurrency market? The size of the cryptocurrency market is 2.4 trillion. So 1%, 88 billion, 2.3 trillion. Basically, it increases. That's about 3 to 4%. If 401ks had 1% of crypto exposure, it would add about 3 to 4% of volume to the crypto market. You're probably thinking 3 to 4% isn't a lot. That's a massive amount. That's a huge amount. Like, this is huge news, guys. And so why does Trump, or why does the Republican Party want to do this? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, more and more people are preferring, or maybe the better word is utilizing, cryptocurrency. And Trump literally stated he wants the US to be the AI and cryptocurrency superpower of the globe. That's his main goal throughout his years being as president. And so this is interesting news, because imagine if your company, imagine if your corporation said, hey, you can now add 4 to 5% of crypto to your 401k portfolio. We'll invest it in there for you. That would be a huge, huge deal. And so another thing which I found interesting is he also wants to add private equity into these 401k accounts. So that's something slightly separate. But you know, that's very controversial, because private equity, there's a lot of adverse opinions about the ethics about that. But also whether or not it's actually going to support the space or not support the space. Private equity is simply investing in companies in the private markets, not the public market. So not on like the S&P 500, not in the stock market, but before they've gone public, companies that are private. Let me see what else we have here. Oh yeah. And another thing about this, guys, is if this becomes true and if this legislation gets passed, well, what's going to happen is crypto is going to have something called sticky money, sticky funds. Now, sticky funds are basically funds that are less liquid. Because think about this. Your money that's in a crypto exchange like Kraken, Coinbase, or whatever, you can withdraw it whenever you want. Let's say you're not staking it, like you can invest it and you can withdraw it and get it back in the same day, in the same minute, right? No problem. But when it's in a 401k, that means that it's less liquid, right? That means that it's long term. Are 401ks held for 1 year, or are they held for like, 40, 50, 60 years? Guys, they're held for decades. So this isn't just investment in crypto that can quickly move out and get withdrawn and pulled out from the market. No. This is sticky money. This is long term. So the difference between like ETFs have been a big deal. You guys have seen many different banks offer crypto ETFs. I don't want to get it wrong, but I think Fidelity, I think Morgan Stanley, they've all got Bitcoin ETFs running. With an ETF, it's a lump sum of money. It's a one-time payment. You invest in an ETF and that's it. It's not continuous. But 401k, is that continuous? It is. It is. 401k is continuous and it's long-term. So what you've got is you've got 401ks, which is incremental over decades, right? So continuously pumping money into the crypto market, whereas an ETF is just like a lump sum one-time payment. So you can see the different sides that are coming into play here, which help the crypto market long term. And that answers the question of, was crypto here to stay? Well, of course. Look at the institutional moves. I hope this is making sense. Put a 10 in the chat if this is making sense to you guys, because this is actually quite big news that might go over some people's heads. Okay, I'm going to touch on this briefly. CoinShares is an asset manager. They IPO'd. That's an initial public offering. So they went from a private company to a public company. And I already spoke about this many times. Like 2026 is the year of IPOs for crypto. 100%. I mean, like, I think I showed you guys a graph the other day. Crypto IPOs 2026. Massive. Like, if you guys want to take notes or something, because I know there's newer people on the call, 2026, what's my perspective on the crypto market in general? What's the big things that's happening? 2022 to 2021, that bull run, the pandemic, right? When Bitcoin went ballistic. Bitcoin went from 3K all the way to 68K. It was a crazy time. What was popping back then? It was this. And maybe take notes, because I'm a big believer in history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. You know, I like watching like war shows and like military and stuff, because everything that happened back then is basically happening today, just in a slightly different way. So let's go back to history, 2020, 2021. What was popping? The metaverse, Web3. What did we have? We had companies like Atari. We had Sandbox, which is land that can be purchased in the metaverse that people were buying. And then companies were saying, hey, we want to have exposure to the metaverse. And those companies had to pay people who own the land in the metaverse. So the metaverse, Web3. Number two, gaming, Gala Games. You guys know Zach Hogan, who's been teaching on a platform for years, based in Dallas. He was massive, and Jordan Morgan, on Gala Games, which was a huge project. So we have metaverse, we have gaming. NFTs was the third thing, the NFT market, right? Ethereum NFTs on OpenSea. NFTs had ridiculous trading volume. You know, you had like, I've got exposure to a project called RumbleCon, but there was also Bored Ape Yacht Club. And Bored Ape Yacht Club literally made tens and tens and tens of millions for those like NFTs, right? Animal NFTs. So we have gaming, we have metaverse, we have NFTs. And I think I'm missing one. I think there's one more industry that was really, really big that I can't remember right now. Okay, but those are the main three. Now, 2026, what do we have? What do we have? Here's how things change. We have crypto IPOs. Huge. We speak about crypto and assets here. It's not just crypto. Guys, having exposure to the stock market is absolutely essential. I know some of you lot do, whether you're in index, whether you're in funds such as QQQ, which is based in fast-growing tech companies, or whether you're in you know, S&P 500, just 500 largest publicly traded companies, whatever it is, it's important to have some level of exposure. So crypto IPOs in 2026, huge. The next thing in 2026 is derivatives. I think that's a massive market for crypto, especially as things grow. The next market in 2026 is AI, data management, crypto companies, 100%. And there's a couple of projects we've spoke about which are AI related, such as ICP, Internet Computer Protocol, great project. And then the fourth industry to keep in mind is, what did we mention? Oh yeah, and stablecoins. Stablecoins also something to keep in mind, because as stablecoin projects, whether they IPO or they don't, it's important that you select the right one. If I say right, meaning ones that have good proof of reserves and good trading volume, so that your funds are safe in this like adverse market, right? It really has been up and down. It's volatile. So that's why it's important to have that safety net. So crypto IPOs, really, really key. I mean, you guys have seen some of the companies like Kraken, Gemini, Chainalysis, BitGo. All of them are looking at IPO soon. We have Ripple, which is the company behind XRP, looking at IPO, I believe in the next 1 year. Well, maybe 1.5, but probably in the next 1 year. So this company here, CoinShares, they IPO'd, and they're an asset manager for crypto. Really simple. They focus on Bitcoin mining, and also, what do I have here? Oh yeah, and also as a crypto ETF. And so, you know, they say buy the rumor, sell the news. I think you guys have heard of that, right? Like if there's an announcement coming, I don't know if you guys know this, just basic market 101. But the anticipation of the announcement is when price rises, and when the announcement actually happens, that's when price falls. Put a 10 in the chat if you guys know this. You guys understand this, right? Like buy the rumor, sell the news, because the rumor is always more emotionally exciting. That's when price appreciates, the value goes up. And as soon as like the IPO happens, or as soon as the project launches, or as soon as something happens, price falls. Because it's anticlimactic. I mean, just look at FOMC interest rates. Whenever there's the quarterly interest rates that get announced, right? Whether it's going up or going down, the lead up to it, it's always the market's moving. And then when it happens, it's like anticlimactic. It's like, okay, like the market's now downturned. So keep that in mind with IPOs, because when Circle IPO'd, and Circle is the company behind USDC. Oh, should probably put Yahoo. When Circle IPO'd, the same thing happened. Literally the same thing happened. There was hype, and then it died down. But it not died down and dead, but like it's going to take some time to get back up to its all-time high, right? So I'm going to let this chart load because I want to show you guys a good example of buy the rumor, sell the news. Guys, look at this. This is what I'm saying. So look, they literally IPO'd. I think it was less than that, by the way. I'm going to say 70 or 60. I think it was less. I remember. It was in the summer. But look, they IPO'd at this price. It was lower than that, but this price. And look where it went up to. Guys, it literally tripled in value from $70 all the way to $260. Massive hype. And then guess what happened? Buy the rumor, sell the news. Sell the news. Look what happened. After that, retracement. And it's not dead. Guys, this project is going to be here for years. Like, I really do believe in Circle. And now it's on its incline up. But with stocks, it's a slightly different gameplay, right? You're holding it slightly more longer term than crypto. But yeah, like this is a perfect example of buy the rumor, sell the news. So that's why I wanted to mention that. What else do we have here? Okay. So regarding IPOs, this company, and transparently, I don't know a lot about CoinShares, by the way, but it's a crypto asset manager. This company IPO'd with something called a SPAC. I don't know. I was thinking about speaking about it. It's like, I don't want to get too technical and like time is of the essence, but I do want to mention this because it's a orange light, like it's a warning sign. I want you to look out for this. When they IPO'd through something called a SPAC. A SPAC is SPAC. It's a little bit more advanced. If you're a beginner and it doesn't make sense, I completely understand. No problem. It's fine. Maybe it'll make sense in the future. But a SPAC, it's called a Special Purpose Acquisition Company. And what it is CoinShares is private. So let's just say like this is private. And then this is the public market up here. This is public. There's people buy, trade, blah, blah, blah. Private market. CoinShares, when they IPO'd to go public, so the shares can be tradable, what they did is they IPO'd through something called a SPAC, which is a blank check shell company. It's a shell company. Like there's no commercial operations whatsoever. The whole purpose of this SPAC is to raise money in the public market, such as us, like we're investing in this SPAC. And once they've raised money, they are currently in a negotiating deal with CoinShares. And in 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, whatever it is, this SPAC that we're pumping money into when CoinShares IPO will eventually acquire CoinShares, and then CoinShares will come up and it will officially be the CoinShares ticker symbol, whatever that's going to be in the public market. So what you're investing in is actually the SPAC based upon the idea that eventually in the next few months, they will acquire CoinShares and it will be one. It will be a whole company with all of the CoinShares operations. So why do I say that's a little bit risky? Because SPACs are good because they allow companies to IPO fast and it's cheaper, right? So it's fast and cheaper for companies to IPO through a SPAC. Why is it maybe bad? Because it's riskier. Because that shell company, that empty company, they may not come to a deal with CoinShares. And if they don't come to a deal 1 to 2 years later, that SPAC vanishes and all of the money gets returned back to investors. How do I know this? Because I got absolutely done for this in 2020. I remember there was a company called Hylian. It was like a power plant, like electrifying large vehicles. And it was about reducing fuel consumption, good for the environment, blah, 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 blah. I invested in a SPAC in 2020. The stock price went crazy, like 7 to 8 times returns. I remember I got my friend on it as well. And we were so buzzing. And then guess what happened, guys? The SPAC company, they didn't successfully merge with Hylian, which is the company down here that was private. And then boom, and then the SPAC just went down, and basically lost everything. Like I took out like a loss, but I was like 7 times X up. So this is what I'm saying. Like whenever a company IPOs with a SPAC, I just want you to have your orange lights on, like warning lights. Like, oh, I don't have to know the ins and outs of how it works, but I need to be a little bit more cautious about that because it's a higher risk level, but it's also a higher potential ROI. Put a 10 in the chat if that makes some sense. Some doesn't have to make full sense, but just some. That's all I wanted to just share with you guys. So cool, good stuff. The last bit of news here is FIFA, because the World Cup's happening 2026 in America. So I am bullish for America 2026, guys. You know why I'm bullish on the market 2026? We've got the World Cup. We got massive entertainment industry plays being on with M&A, mergers and acquisitions, such as Paramount, such as HBO, such as Netflix. Massive news. We have some of the biggest movies coming out this year. We also have, what's the other fundamentals? Oh, yeah, we also have data and AI being a massive focus in America. Huge private equity companies going in and private credit. So I'm bullish on America. And this is another reason why. Because the prediction markets is only going to go up. And maybe we should start looking at investing in companies that are in the prediction market space, such as Cowshy, such as Polymarket. Now, FIFA announced ADI. This is interesting. Well, it's not ADI. It's not an ADI chain. But basically, they're launching a prediction markets platform for the World Cup. And it's going to be on this crypto chain ADI. I'll be honest with you. I actually don't know ADI well. But it's interesting because they're connecting prediction markets with the entertainment industry with blockchain technology. That just sounds like heaven. That just sounds like something which is going to have a lot of activity and eyes. So this, I found it interesting because prediction markets have been on the rise. And here's the thing, this is not unofficial, right? This is not like a unofficial partnership where it's through a company and like they just have affiliation, but it's not, it's like FIFA, guys. Like FIFA are literally saying like, this is our official partner and they've signed a multi-year deal. So yeah, keep an eye on this, whether it's from an investing standpoint or if you guys want to be consumers. I don't do betting and any of that stuff, but maybe you do. So that was another bit of news I wanted to share. And then they have a little video here. I don't know if the audio is going to work, but maybe I can start it and see if it. Let me share something. 1 second. Oh, shit.
ADI Predict Street.
Oh, wow. It's actually called ADI Predict Street. That's really interesting. So, yeah, massive news, guys. So I appreciate all of you listening to me now. We have my man, Gil, who's going to give some incredible source about the markets, mainly technicals, some fundamentals. I mean, look, guys, Jesus Gil was actually the individual back in 2021, end of February, who introduced me into Powerhouse, into this incredible community. And, you know, I just learned masses of amounts. It honestly completely changed my life, guys. This is why I'm so passionate about sharing value, like whether it's public or private, it really doesn't matter. And Gil is someone who is probably one of the most consistent individuals I've ever met. Like, I'm being serious. Like, this man literally just studies, puts in the work, helps so many people when he doesn't even need to. And you know, he's really my brother. So you guys are going to get some huge game. I'm going to be plugged in with my notepad. Gil, I'm going to pass it to you, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nah, appreciate you, bro. You always give a lot of game. That I actually learned. Like I'm over here, like, okay, I haven't heard this. Like this makes sense. That's what I love about this. I really am so grateful for what we've done here, for crypto and assets. If you've been tuning in here, you already know, you know, the type of information we give. But if you've never tuned in here, I want to let you know that we always have amazing two sides, right? We have a lot of the traditional side, and then we have the untraditional side, and the whole point is for to bridge things together. And I'm super grateful for what we're creating, what we're doing, but really just to share game and share value for, you know, what is really offered as well within Powerhouse University. But to let you know, guys, know for the ones that don't know me, my name is Jesus Gil. I'm 27 years young. I actually will be 28 this month in 10 days, which is crazy. You know, I've been in the market for 6 years, and it's really amazing to not only been able to learn the markets and grow, but to be able to learn together with the boy John Luke. And we've been able to do a lot of cool things together, grow together, learn together, and I hope you guys took notes from the things he broke down because I'm being honest, and this is from somebody that's in the space. Majority of people are not talking about the things that John Luke just talked about. Like 100% are not, right? And I'm gonna go into a little bit. While he was talking about the whole ADI, I kind of did a little, tuning in. I might talk about that. But with saying that, I'm gonna go straight into the charts because what I want to start today. So John Luke gave a lot of news and fundamentals, which is honestly, I love that. That's like honestly, that's like I geek for that type of stuff. But I want to give a little bit more chart work, but also look at what's going on in the economy and how it can affect your day-to-day life. But also, this is crypto and assets. So we're going to talk about other assets as well with crypto, stocks, stuff like that. So the first chart I want to show you guys is the oil chart. Now, if you guys haven't seen, right, it's funny because I put a poll on my story and everybody was like, yeah, I'm definitely getting affected. Everybody right now is getting affected with oil prices, right? And I was looking at this and I'm like, okay, like let me look at previous past. Like John Luke was saying as well, the markets don't do exactly the same, right? But they do rhyme. They don't do exactly, but they do something similar. And one thing I've realized and I've seen that there is a trend of April through June, July, that there is spikes of oil. Now, right now, obviously, I'm sorry to say this, but it's the truth. The excuse of the pump of oil is the war right now. But I want to let y'all know that this happened as well back in 2022. This happened in this time as well. So this is the crude oil chart. And this shows just, the price of crude oil futures wise, right? And this gives you an idea of oil as a whole. Now, back in 2022, fam, I want to let y'all know that we saw a pump that actually started in December. And the top of it actually was, or like the last top before the bottom was actually in the middle or end of June. Now, fast forward to today, this pump started in January. And I am very confident that we're going to see either it stay here or higher all the way to June. Okay, so that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. Now, what I also want to show you guys is this. This is called the seasonality chart. Now, this seasonality chart is not something that you base everything off of, right? But it's something that you look at and you say, okay, well, the markets rhyme, right? This is a lot of years. This is 20 years of data averaged in month by month, every single year, just averaged. And as we can see, January to June, it's bullish. And then from July to December, it's bearish. Isn't that interesting? January to June, June to December. Then what happened again? January to June. This year wasn't like that. It didn't really follow that. Neither did 2024, really, like a little bit, but not too crazy. And neither did 2025. But 4 years later, same thing is happening. Same thing that happened here, but just more spiked than it was here. So I personally do think gas prices will stay high until June, which is interesting because the World Cup is June. So there's just a lot of things going on. It's gonna. I think it's funny, but some people might not think it's funny. But yeah, so just know that's one thing I want to talk about. So if you're somebody that's looking to whatever trade, oil, whatever it is, I would say it's bullish until then, and then we'll see bearishness probably going into the end of the year. And then I don't know what 2027, 2028 will look like, right? So that's the first thing I want to talk about. The second thing I wanted to talk about and go into is Bitcoin, right? I want to talk about Bitcoin, as we know, right? Crypto, everything follows Bitcoin. The reason why we always start with Bitcoin is because, and I'm also going to show the total market cap, which is all of crypto. But the reason why we start with BTC, because BTC is like the gold of the markets of crypto. Well, gold is like the reserve currency of currency, right? Bitcoin is the reserve currency of crypto. I just want you guys to know that. That's just literally the exact representation, just different marketplace, okay? Now, with Bitcoin, honestly, for the longest, I'm not going to lie, I was looking for here, okay? I was looking for this area for a lot of different reasons, but I'm not going to lie to you. I really like where we're at, okay? I personally, there's a couple things I'm gonna talk about. Okay, first thing is this. I'm gonna go back into the past because I always like to look at the past, not as like the exact same thing, but like what similar moves can we see? So down here, okay, I want you guys to look at this. Down here, right here, I have a chart that's called RSI. So I don't really use indicators, but this is the only one that I use only on the higher time frames and only for investing. This is a relative strength index. This shows the strength of that index or the chart that is showing at the current time, meaning when it's above here, the strength is very high. Everything that's high is, overbought, oversold type analysis. When it's too high, it could be too high of a strength where it has to balance out and go back down. And when it's too low, that means it's too low of strength and it's going to balance out by going up. Okay. So it's just like a supply and demand type of thing that I like to use. Now, last couple of weeks, I was talking about this. Back in 2020, we saw something similar, right? Where the market came in, the market came retraced, the market created a higher high. And then we thought it was going to stick here, but it didn't. It went down. And I was like, okay, could we see something like that? But one thing that I saw here, and I was looking at this today, is that at this time when the market was right here, okay, when the market was right here, down here, we were not below these dotted lines. Okay, I want you guys to look at that. Now, if we're going to now, we can see something similar, right? Market came up, looking for retracement here. Now, can it break lower? It could. Anything can happen. But one difference that I see is this, okay? That right now we actually hit, and I'm gonna make this bigger so y'all see this. If you look at this, we actually went below these lines, meaning we were somewhere where the strength was really low for Bitcoin, but obviously, the asset has strength. Now, one thing that's also been happening, I just want to let y'all know, there hasn't been as much volume as usual as well for BTC. That's one thing as well that I've realized. Oops, what happened here? Hold on one second. Cool. So basically, there hasn't been the same amount of volume that there's been. Literally, right now, there's not volume. So what does that mean? That means there's not a lot of buyers, not a lot of sellers. The market just kind of chilling, to be honest. And that's it. That's what it's been. This basically since the beginning of the year. After this drop in January, February, March, very, very slow. If you go to the volume of the chart, look at this. Look at this, just perspective. Look at this volume compared to this volume. Wild, right? There hasn't been. But one thing I like about this is that when there's low volume, it's actually one of the best opportunities. Like literally, like whenever there's low volume, like look at all this. This had low volume. Look at that. Super low volume. It's crazy because all of this technically had low volume, which is wild to me. I'm not looking at this, right? But anyways, looking at this, guys, I really believe that, well, the volume has decreased for sure. But even still, like, let's say, yeah, this time compared to, yeah, low volume regardless. But right now, there's been very low volume. Like, you can't even see it at this point, how low it is, right? So this low volume for me really just shows that the market's just, not doing much. But realistically, where there is a lot of uncertainty, and that's kind of what I've been telling everybody, when there is a lot of uncertainty, that's where the most opportunity lies. So me personally, I'm looking at Bitcoin going under a sweeping 60K, but not being there for long. I personally can see this happening maybe June, July, August, during the World Cup when nobody's paying attention to it. I personally can see this being the bottom of the market and going to maybe a small pump in December, and then maybe having a retracement and then shooting up in 2027. I personally believe that 2026, 2027 is like the get ready to 2030. Like now I'm looking at a different perspective, like bigger scale. And that's because this is what I see, and I'm not telling you it's going to happen. We're going to keep updating ourselves with this. But as of right now, I want to see BTC go under 60K, right? There's a lot of wicks right here. So let me take this array. There's a lot of wicks rejecting, right? If this was to close above here, so if this was to close above here, then my bias would change. right? I would want to see something like this and then stay above. That's what I want to see. So right now, if you're like, hey, is Bitcoin a good investment? I mean, honestly, right now it is. Like, I'm just saying, I don't always say this, but it is. Because why? I mean, long term, it always is. But like even short term, it's down 46% from the all-time highs. Like that's a great one. Now, personally, because I'm more of a trader as well, I have more patience. I'm on the chart more. I'm looking for 50% and below. So I'm looking for below 60K for me to start executing in BTC myself. All right. So what does that lead to as well? I also want to talk about gold and silver. I'm going to start with silver. Silver is a good asset that I believe that everybody should be looking at. It's interesting because I remember my mom calling me about silver here. And I was like, Mom, no, we're not buying silver at the top of the market. And I knew that was the top when she called me. I was like, that's crazy. I've been doing this for 6 years. I've never gotten a call about an asset or an investment from my parents until silver. And it was like on Facebook and the news, and that was like, that's wild how real that is, right? When people are talking about it, that's when the top is in. When people aren't talking about it, that's when the bottoms can be in. That's why I said Bitcoin, nobody's talking about it right now, right? So with saying that, I want to see silver potentially come into this area before it goes higher. I personally believe silver is an amazing play. It's something that I missed personally. I was watching this for so long. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why I didn't pull the trigger. It was just maybe a being unknown because I wasn't buying commodities. But like I was watching silver here. I remember 2024, 2025. Like I was just watching it. And I remember because I was looking for a bigger pullback, which didn't happen. But anyways, I want to see similar. Like honestly, even starting at, I'm gonna put this higher actually. Even starting at $60, I want to start to accumulate into a portfolio. You can buy the specific silver, or you can, do an ETF and online version of it as well. So silver is a big play that I think long term, this is like long term hold. Like I'm talking about like, 10, 20, 30 years. You can see some exciting things with it. Same thing with gold as well. Gold saw a big pump. Now, what can we see for gold? I don't know. I do believe we're still going to be bearish. We ended the month bearish. If you guys know, this is technically an engulfing candle, because it outranked the size of the candle, bearish versus bullish. So I don't know. I will want to see something like this coming here before we go higher. Okay, so that means this year, the opportunity is this year for assets and opportunities. Now, with going with now the stock market, right? The stock market finished the month of March bearish, but it started the month of April a quick bullishness. So, this could stick. I'm not gonna lie, this could stick and just go higher because the thing about stocks, it doesn't retrace as much. Now, is there a small probability that we can maybe see something here? Yes, there is. This is something called an imbalance, and I'm not gonna go too much into it. Maybe we have another call about like technical analysis, a little bit more in depth. But an imbalance is that when there's like basically a gap between the candles. Like you see how every candle here, there's like candle open, candle close, candle open, comes back, rebalances, come back, rebalances, right? It balances out. But when there's imbalances, mainly on the bigger time frame for investing, this at some point will be filled. I don't know, it'll be now or next. But if we want to go lower, we could come here, which that's a big down. Like it already went down maximum 10%, and it was crazy. If this comes back down another 6%, 7%, we would be down a total of like 12 to 13% for the S&P 500 specifically. Now, the last time this did this, yeah, no, like, I mean, this time it was 22. I don't think it'll be that much. It'll be something around 16 to 17, which I think will do a big panic in the market. Okay. So just be aware. I personally, like I'm saying, there's a lot of opportunities when it comes to stocks. I was looking at Netflix. It didn't want to come back for me. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if it's going to come back for me. But if Netflix decides to come back, okay, just giving you guys this now, below $90, I think is a great opportunity. Paramount is another good one as well. They're about to have the UFC fight at the White House, I think in June, which is wild. Everything's happening in June, like June, July. It's not a coincidence, right? So I don't know. I think this could be a good opportunity. I like Paramount, really under $10. I really like. This is my DCA zone, so around $9 to like $3, $4. I don't think it'll go that low, but I kind of like this. So this area is what I really like for Paramount. It's a cheaper stock. So it's like a higher risk, higher reward type of play. And there's so many other more that I think are there. Literally like something like Klarna, for example, right? Afterpay. It's like Afterpay is super popular right now. Klarna is one of the biggest ones with that. You got to think about it. What are people mostly going to use right now? I don't know if you guys have heard this, but right now, they're going to start offering Afterpay for your rent of your apartment. Like, that's wild. Think about that. You're already paying rent, but then you're going to like pay it behind, which is wild. I don't recommend it, but there is stocks out there that will be providing those services that you can capitalize on it as well. Right. So those are a couple of things that I wanted to go to. Even like the bigger companies, guys, and kind of going with to a Circle as well. John Luke talked about Circle. I'm super bullish on Circle because I don't want you guys to realize the thing that's mostly going to be used in crypto is stable coins. Bitcoin will not be used on a day-to-day basis. It won't. It will be like gold. It's going to be a reserve currency. But you know what will be? Stable coins. And you know who owns these stable coins? Companies. And you know who owns the biggest one in the US is USDC? Circle, right? So you can participate in being part of that ecosystem with Circle. So I personally want to see Circle under $80 because I just see this imbalance. Now, honestly, right now is not a bad investment. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like right now is not bad. So if you're looking at starting opportunities now, I would not say it's a bad idea. And if it goes lower, you keep entering, right? But I like Circle as a long-term play. I'm excited for it. I'm happy he actually came back because they left us. One of the educators on our platform, Jordan Morgan, called it out here, which is wild, like live on a live session that we have. And he saw the upside of it, and he already took some profits and looking to recalculate. So like 160%, which is dope. But yeah, so those are a couple plays that I wanted to give you guys. Now, when it comes to altcoins, so going to like something like Ethereum, for example, similar thing, fam. Just to give you guys perspective, if Bitcoin goes below 60K, that means Ethereum will go below 1,800. If Ethereum goes below 1,800, I'm just saying, don't sleep. Don't sleep. Don't sleep. I think Ethereum is going to be a big play. It is going to be the most used. It's already being used a lot from big institutions. So don't sleep on that. Now, one thing I want to give you guys is something actually, I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm going to do it anyways. One of our educators called this out. So I'm giving you guys, for the ones that are on or watching this, like I'm giving you guys like inside soup of our community, what we get actually, what we pay for, what we've had years and years and years of back-end with. I'm giving it to you y'all now, all right? So Caspa is a big play for us. I personally like Caspa under 3 cents right here. So Caspa is a big play. If you haven't looked into it, look into it. I personally like this. Again, higher risk, higher reward, long-term play. You're going to hold this for a bit. You're not going to just pump and dump. But this is a good play as well. So here are a couple. I don't want to go too much into it. I just want to give you guys some perspective. But the last thing I want to leave y'all with is what John Luke was talking about. Shout out to him because I didn't know about this. Is ADI. So I looked this up on CoinGecko, right? CoinGecko is where you look up these cryptos and look at different things. ADI is something I would look into, right? You look at the tokenomics. Market cap is 348 million, right? Not like that's a decent size. That means it's not tiny. But also the circulating supply is closer to 80 million, right? And the total supply is 999, basically a billion. So it's not bad. Like this was like a trillion. I wouldn't like that. But like this is not bad. 1 billion total supply isn't bad. That means this coin is new. So think about it like this. There's going to be more tokens being released. So, it's at the beginning, it might have a pump. And hey, this might be a play. I'm going to be looking into this. I might do some on the side just to see what happens because it will be around the stadium most likely. Like there will be marketing for this. If FIFA partnered with this, there will be marketing. I remember when FIFA partnered with Flow. Flow is like an NFT project. I'm not going too much into it. It's an NFT blockchain. They were promoting Flow when I went to the Spain game in 2021. Wild. Like I remember seeing it and I was telling my wife, like that's flow. Like I know what I have that token, so it's wild. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually something that will maybe have something, right? So I'm gonna be looking into this. This is an early play. So if John Luke, bro, if we catch a good couple X's, shout out to you. You gave it to us live and in action. So I'm excited for what's to come. The last thing I will say is this: 2026, and I'm gonna repeat it every time we have these calls, by the way. 2026 is the year to make more money and put yourself in position with investments. This is the year. I personally thought this is the year of like all-time highs. I don't think that anymore. I think this is a year that's going to be accumulation, 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 accumulation going into 2027, 2028, 2029. And then I don't know. I heard some wild things. 2030 could actually be the big downside for the next century or the next decade after that. So I think we have the best opportunity right now. Is the best time to get educated. Okay, if you're not a part of what we have in Powerhouse University or Zenrai, I would highly recommend to reach out and say, hey, how can I get access to this? How can I get access to educators that are doing this live and in action on a week-to-week basis, right? When it comes to trading, when it comes to investing, like this is the time, right? The individuals I've learned from for years, Mike Shatero, even Mambo and Claudio, who are, on the platform for the first time on Zenrai, actually, if you didn't know, Patrick Kenny, a lot of experience when it comes to this. People that have been in the game for over a decade, but they're still young, which is wild to me. This is what we have access to. This is what I've been able to learn for so many years. So if you do not have access to Zenrai, you don't have access to Powerhouse University, I'm letting you know now, this is the year to do that. This is the year to get educated. This is the year to get ahead. And if you're not, that's completely fine. I don't care. At the end of the day, myself and Jean-Luc will continue to get educated. But if you're somebody on this call and saying, hey, I need to learn these things, plug in because you will not regret it. All right. So with saying that, guys, I appreciate you guys for hopping on. I'm excited for what we have coming for crypto and assets. Remember, every single Saturday at the same place. And yeah, at the same time, unless we have travel. And shout out to Jean-Luc for covering when I'm out. Same thing, vice versa. But other than that, fam, I appreciate you guys. I'm excited, and I highly recommend for you to invite one person to these sessions every single Saturday because I can guarantee they will not regret it. All right. So I'll see you guys next weekend. I'm excited.